Shereen caught up with Minister of State for Aviation, Jayant Sinha, earlier today and began by asking him if the aviation sector was ready for the GST rollout and what would the implications of the tax regime change be on the aviation sector. Here's what he said.
As far as the aviation sector is concerned, we've had a series of meetings with all of the stakeholders regarding implementation issues related to GST, and by and large I think they have been resolved. We have a series of system issues that we had to take care of regarding the definition of stopover and continuous journey. As I said, we think that by and large those have been resolved. We also have a number of rate-related issues or policy-related issues which are not necessarily implementation-oriented, but do pertain to exactly how rates will be applied. And there we are looking at things like the movement of stock, like spare parts and so on across the country. We are looking at input tax credit for import leases and so on. So there are a number of things that we have to work through still so that we understand exactly how tax is going to be applied in the GST framework for these expenses.
Given the fact that some of these issues continue to be unaddressed, what will the impact be specifically on aviation companies? A lot of them are listed in the markets as well, and hence investors are seeking answers to those questions. What do you believe will the immediate term or the short-term impact be if these issues like the leasing, etc., remains unaddressed?
Those, I think, will be sorted out. The good news about the whole GST process is that it is a dynamic process and it's a very responsive process. We have sector councils that have been established. There are 17 sector councils and each of these sector councils is taking on board all of these issues and trying to resolve them as quickly as possible. There is in fact a GST council meeting tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. I'm told, that will take on board some of these important changes that have been proposed and work to try and resolve them this evening itself. So I think, the net result of all of that come July 1 is going to be some very marginal adjustments that will have to be made as far as the aviation sector is concerned, and things should settle down relatively quickly.
What's the feedback that you get from aviation companies, sir, when you talk to them about what could happen to fares starting the 1st of July? There are differential rates for economy tickets, differential rates for business class tickets as far as the services rate is concerned. What is the sense and the feedback that you get in terms of what could happen to fares come July 1st?
We believe fares will generally be stable. Of course, as you know, we've gone from 6% for economy to 5%. So there's been a reduction in tax rates. And for economy, we've gone from for business, we've gone from 9 to 12%. So there's been an increase in tax rates there. There is still some discussion going on about certain input tax credits that we want. So let's see how all of those play out. But net, as I said, I think there will be some marginal changes to fares, but none of this is going to be very dramatic, and it should settle down very quickly.
One big concern that industry continues to have is on ATF, sir, and that is not in the ambit of the GST. But can there be any hope at all now as far as ATF is concerned on whether state governments will pursue any kind of reduction on taxes as far as ATF goes?
The good news on ATF, of course, Shereen, is that prices have come down generally and have stayed down. So that's very good news for passengers. And of course, through Udaan, we have worked together with the states for regional connectivity to ensure that the ATF tax rate for Udaan is 3%. So it's actually quite low for the regional flights. Now, with respect to ATF taxes for the national market, which is the bulk of the market, of course, we have a situation where we are trying to work with the states over a period of time to bring petroleum products and ATF into GST so that we can deal with it as efficiently as possible. That's an ongoing consultation that's being taken up through the GST Council on a continuous basis. And we are hopeful over a period of time, once GST settles down, that we'll be able to bring petroleum products, including ATF, of course, into the ambit of the GST as well.